Good evening, Nigeria. Good evening, Lagos. Good evening, Victoria. And it's a brand new, wonderful evening on your Thursday evening delights. Live to that. I remain yours through the mayor. Isaac Brown is the story that won't just go away. But I hope it's a story that should be able to go away this wonderful evening. The solution rests with you. Millions that you're always there every now and then to, watching, tuning in, and occasionally weighing in on issues that will bring life on Lifted Heart. Our story. Yes, our story. Quite pathetic. But the bottom line is this. It's a story that seems to have captured the imaginations of those that have been tuning in to watch this program, Lifted Heart, live here in the city of Lagos. It all began exactly a few weeks ago, live on this show, when we began to x-ray the need for us, as a society, as a people, as Nigerians, to do one thing, to begin to celebrate the virgins amongst us. Yes, and we began by asking the relevance of the issue of virginity as far as today's modern society of ours is concerned. It was at a point in our discourse that this lady took that unusual courage to share with us live on television her own personal story, and the story that seemed to be begging for one thing: solution. I must really thank a lot of you. Loads of people did weigh in last week on this lady's story. This evening, I hope we'll be able to put a lead on our story. And for somebody watching me live on television, a lot of people did call in to share with me their personal perspective, especially the kind of experience they seem to have, which seem to be almost similar to Jane's story live on television. Yes, let me bring you up to speed about this lady's story. And if we're able to do, I hope she'll be able to share her story once again with us live on television this wonderful evening. We've been talking about the need for us to begin to celebrate virgins amongst us. We also agree that, look, the idea of spending billions and billions of naira, dollars as well, to fight HIV and AIDS, to fight the so-called scourge of sexually transmitted diseases in our society. Maybe we won't need to spend these billions every now and then fighting this scourge if we can only do one thing: promote the virgins amongst us. I remember, a particular caller did weigh in to say, look, instead of our lawmakers, getting busy every now and then talking about debating girl-child marriage, why can't they do something by legitimizing a day where virgins among us will be celebrated? They also went further to say, look, even our religious institution should just not talk about premarital sex and the need why people should refrain from it, but they should begin to appreciate virgins who walk straight away to the altar to get married. When they are celebrated in a very special way, other young girls in the church or in the mosque will see a need why they should preserve and maintain their pride, their virginity. And that was at the point that Jane weighed in. She called live to share with us. I'm just going to give you the bullet points about how she lost her virginity to a very, 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 very unfortunate circumstance and situation. Ineptitude nature of the so-called medical experts who should know better. That was what Jane told us. It all began, according to her, because she was a virgin almost 15 years ago. And she did experience some itching in her private parts. That's pain made her to go to a teaching hospital somewhere in the east. She reported that when she got there, she met a consultant who later introduced her to some young doctors who eventually now had to direct her to meet a matron. It was this matron, what she did on her, that made Jane, as we speak this evening, still miserable, still very much annoyed with herself. According to her, this matron, in her quest to pick specimen from a private part used the wrong objects. She described it as something like a fork or something. And in this matron's attempt to pick specimen to actually help the doctors determine the cause and the source of the itching she said she was experiencing, she told me that she found out that during the course of this attempt at this matron, she began to bleed. She bled for 3 days, according to her. And some few years later, she said she had typhoid. She went to the hospital. And when she was checked by another consultant, she was shattered when the news came that she had actually lost her virginity. That hymen that usually covered the private part was gone, according to the new consultant who actually examined her 3 years later. She says since that time, she's never been the same again. She said as a young girl, she's always had this belief that she wants to preserve her virginity until that night when that Mr. Right will come, that honeymoon, to break it. But now, her concern, her problem, how will she, according to her, now tell the Mr. Right when the man comes that this was how I lost mine? Would the man ever believe her? And she felt, look, she's finding it very difficult to forgive herself over what actually happened as far as her experience was concerned. That was the story of Jane.